The day has come to discuss selling my TDI swap. I have a lot of people that are interested in this. I don't like answering questions a million times. So I'm going to just give you guys a little video to explain what you'll be getting and what I've done. So the first thing you'll notice is this guy. This uses the VW gas pedal. This ring here is your adapter to make the AW4, the stock gas pedal, and your cruise control all work with the VW gas pedal. This is cruise control, this is your gas pedal, this is the pressure line for the AW4. See how it's set up? Nice and simple, okay? The next thing is the power steering, okay? Or accessories rather. So this guy is set up with a brand new AC compressor. This is the Jeep 4.0 AC compressor. So you will need AC lines. Mine are extra long. Here's one, there's the other. They run down the side, and I do have them. You will see it's not ideal, but it works really well. I have them strapped to the AC compressor to keep anything from fatiguing from, the rotational forces of the vibrations. I might even have a little piece of wood in there, if I'm remembering correctly, between the compressor and the fittings. I don't mean to make it jank, but it works, it's safe, it protects the lines. I had some fatigue, and putting a metal block there was going to wear through the hoses, so the wood block is what made sense. So that's there. This works like factory, literally. You just got to get lines. I can sell you lines. Here's the deal: is I'm putting a motor in here, so I want to keep some of my stuff if possible. This line will drop right in there, and so will the lower line. I would really rather keep these lines. It's really easy to go onto the Cold Hose website and find the lines that you need. I can supply you with a list of what you need because I have past order history with them I can send to you. So I would like to keep those. They can be negotiated, I guess, but I really would like to keep those. The next thing is the accessory bracket on the right. The way this is set up is it's basically the stock bracket with the power steering lopped off. This originally had the offset bracket that shifted everything upwards. Everyone thinks that that's an amazing thing, but the thing that people don't understand is these motors shake, and what happens is with the weight of this alternator being up here, that plate will flex, it'll break, it'll tear this up, it'll tear up this thing bounces all over the place. It's just a bad deal. And in my opinion, it's just not worth it. So I cut the power steering off, and you can see this belt is a little worn, so it's starting to get close to touching. I replace this probably every 20,000 miles. It's good to replace these belts often because this is a timing belt motor, and you don't want them to shred and get in there. But yeah, about every 20,000 miles, you want to replace that. So you can see how that works. Fits really well. The power steering is done through a power steering, electric power steering pump. This thing has, it's really simple. It has two lines. They go from here to your power steering box. It's just a Volvo power steering. I'm probably going to use this in my next swap. Again, I'll sell it to you, but I'm just going to sell you this pump and, what's needed to make hoses to go here. I would really rather keep it and just set you up so you can have brand new stuff going into your car. The big thing here is I have everything figured out for this. So that's where this is at currently. We can negotiate that. You will be receiving this. This is the radiator coolant reservoir, which I would like to be bigger, honestly, but it does work. And this is a catch can, basically. I would like to paint this. If I were you, I'd just paint the lid. It was, I forgot to paint it, but it just goes from here, boom, and, catches oil, goes to the intake here, just to keep the gases and stuff carb legal. And keep it from stinking up and smoking and whatever. So That's that. Alternator, obvious. This is obvious. AC is pretty obvious. Stock tensioner. The turbo stock. I mean, this is a, you know, that on the power side, this is stock motor. You could put a tune on this thing and double what you're getting, but this is just how it is stock. I had to do a lot of work over here when my last turbo went out. So the EGR cooler I deleted. I had fully intended to tune this and, you know, do the delete officially, but I just didn't. I think I still have the cooler. If you'd like it, they're pretty cheap to get anyway. It's got motor mounts that will come with it. You will need to make plates for them to bolt to on your frame rails. You can see the other one down in there. You just make a plate that copies the plate, and then you'll bolt it to your frame rail, drill and tap, done. The exhaust, you can get the exhaust with it too. If it's going in a Cherokee, it'll work for you. It's really just the stock XJ exhaust from like the transfer case back. From here forward, it's a cat and a muffler that comes into a little wrapped down pipe off of the turbo. The VW wiring is a little bit, you know, it's just, it could be tidied up. But basically what you have going on is this is, you know, untuned. So stock gas pedal, stock ECU, and the gauge cluster is actually shoved up under the dash with the wiring and everything figured out. So as I tear into this, I will take pictures and document it for you so you know how to put it back in. But the ECU just chills here with the main relay. This is unrelated to the engine. This is a fan that the last guy had wired up to the dash, and I just have the wire there because I was using it to pull stuff through the firewall forever ago. Not all of this is the VW. You know, that's Jeep. This is VW. This is chassis related. So there's that. You'll get the fuel filter. You're going to use your stock ECM to run the gauge cluster on the car. So you'll have to find the pins in here that go to the appropriate sensors on the motor. The motor has sensors for the VW system itself, and some of them are doubled up, like the oil pressure sensor you'll see down in here. This big one right here is the Jeep one. Yeah, Jeep one. That gives you oil pressure on your dash, and then the VW one is separate and facing the other way. So that's how that works. Let's see what else is good to know. I had done all the, you know, coolant hose swaps that you got to do to get this to fit in here nice and cleanly. And I know sometimes it could, you know, this makes it look a mess, but this thing is really done quite cleanly. The battery cradle, I'll sell you the battery cradle. I'm not going to use it. It's a chassis stiffener, power steering stiffener, battery cradle. So it bolts across the frame rails. There's a plate on either end that capture the holes for your bracket, whatever it's called, your track bar. You will need to drill out your frame holes here, there, and there to match these. I can tell you the diameter, or you can just measure the hole and drill it out. I drill these out because they're bigger and stronger, and it gives the exact fit between this bracket brace deal and the bolts that go through it. So makes everything nice and strong. You won't have death wobble. For the intercooler piping, some of it you'll need to get, some of it you'll get from me. Like, you'll get what you see. However, there is a liquid to air intercooler. You can see it enter there and exit down here. That is mounted down here. I have the bumper off because I've been working on it. I was gonna make a bumper for this. So you have the liquid to air intercooler. That's how I did it. You could do an air to air if you want. Everybody has their own flavor. I'm gonna need that for my next swap. But you will get all of this. You'll get the pre-welded tubing and everything like that. You can see it works pretty cleanly. Let's see. You'll get the AW4 with it. Show you the coolant hoses real quick. It's very important to have this one go to the top of your radiator, and that one down there comes to the lower portion of your radiator. That's very important. Your coolant temp sensor for the gauge cluster that goes to your ECM I have mounted here. There's the MAF sensor here. I will... It's hard for me to draw the line where stuff comes and goes. Everybody's got a different air intake box, and some people might not want the battery box. So I really would like to keep this plate with this filter, because this is going to work perfectly for my swap. But you will get this elbow, you'll get this, you'll get that, and you can throw a cone filter in the corner if that's what you want to do. But I spent a lot of time on this, so I would like to keep that. It's going to work for what I'm doing. The engine has a Colt cam. It has new bolts. The head has been walnut blasted by myself and cleaned. It has a new head gasket. It has ARP head studs. It has the balance shaft module delete with the ALH pump upgrade. It has the steel bottomed oil pan. And I will tell you, I did bump it back in the day. It's not leaking. It's just a little dent from the pumpkin. This is a 4.5 inch lift, and I had to put limiters in my axle. But yeah, I did kiss it one time. Those are cheap, easy to come by. If that bothers you, this is not the swap for you. The AW4 comes with it. Let me show you how all of that works. I'll include all the wiring for this, and I'll take pictures as I take it out so you can see how it works. So, don't mind the mess. What you'll get here is, this is made by Brewington Wiring Systems. It's a friend of mine. He runs a really cool company. Makes a lot of custom stuff, but I haven't needed him to touch this since I installed it. You'll get this screen. You'll get the switch mounting bracket, which does not interfere with your airbag whatsoever. You have, and I'll clean this up, but you have downshift, upshift, torque converter lock. Okay, so, and it depends on your transmission. Some of them you can do differently, but this transmission specifically, with the way the valving is set up, other year AW4s are a little different. But what you can do is, first gear, you don't have torque converter lock. Shift up, second gear, you do have torque converter lock available. You can use it on acceleration and, while cruising, but you do not want to engine brake in second gear. The porting is not set up for it. Your transmission will make weird noises. Shift up again, third gear, you can lock, you can accelerate, you can decelerate, you can engine brake in it, and same thing in fourth gear. And if you want to unlock, you have to shift out of the gear. That's just how the coding works. There was not a way to do an unlock button. If you're good with Arduino, you might be able to figure it out, and swap the lock for unlock also. But it was giving us all kinds of irregularities, so we just have up, down, and lock. And anytime you shift, it automatically unlocks your torque converter. This thing gets easily 30 miles a gallon on road trips unloaded, cruising at like 65, 70 mile an hour. I have a Ford 8.8, and you can hear the power steering running. The engine's not even running, and I have power steering right now. So that's it's a nice touch. The pump could be spun up a little bit more for more pressure, but it does its job currently. So that's how that works. There's a button down here that you can push to turn off this system, and if you power the car up with that system off, you will be driving with your stock automatic transmission controller, and it will shift and drive as normal if you wired it incorrectly. And if you power it up with that turned on, you will have manual control over it, or you can turn that on, at a stop in the middle of a drive. It basically has 3 relays that, when this is powered on, it interrupts the connection between the stock transmission controller and the transmission, and it puts the Arduino in control of it. That's how that works. And, all of that control stuff will come with it. Sweet deal. I've put 40,000 miles on the swap, and it works amazing. Trying to think of what else. The transmission bolts up in the stock location with the stock mount. I don't know if there's really anything else I need to answer. If there is, we can answer from here, but this answers most of your questions. The auto shut-off valve does work, or the anti-shutter valve does work. So that's a cool deal, good safety feature. Yeah, I think that's all you really need to know. You got to figure out your intercooler system. You got to make a hose for your AC. I would seriously recommend making your own hoses. I'll send you the parts list. It's going to be under $100, and you'll have brand new, fresh hoses. These have been in here bouncing around forever, so I really wouldn't want to do that. This is just a Volvo power steering pump. I can get you set up with this too. You can buy it off of me, but I would like to keep it for my swap because it's already tied into my chassis and it works really well. I'll just tell you right now, there's your part number. It's just literally an electric Volvo power steering pump. My buddy Brewington Wiring Systems sells a kit for these that will let you turn up the PWM on these. He's more than happy to make and sell them to anybody who wants them. They're priced very aggressively, in my opinion, especially since he hand makes these on a board that he has custom made on his own design. Did a great job with it. So I would recommend this highly. You get a Volvo pump. He's got the controller for it. It communicates over CAN bus to this. He's got all the wiring instructions set up for it. You get your return hose is just barbed here, and it's barbed down here. And then your pressure hose is the only one you have to figure out. And I can get you the fitting information. It just, there it is. It threads in to here, makes it AN, and then you just make yourself an AN pressure hose that goes from there to your pressure line. And I actually just took the pressure line off of this power steering box, and then I bought a crimpable fitting and crimped it on there. An even better solution than that, which I have done on my newer swap, is they have field serviceable fittings that you slip the hose on and then tighten it down, and it is field serviceable, so you don't even have to have a crimper. So that's a pretty sweet deal. But yeah, everything else comes with this. Works great, runs great. I'll fire it up for you, and I'll show you how she sounds. It is extremely cold here. It's probably 10-12 degrees outside right now. You can see the icicles. We had a huge ice storm here, so she's cold, but sounds great. Very open intake. You hear everything. Makes like turbo blow off sounds when you get off the gas. Very smooth when you shut it off also. Cheers to the next owner.